Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. In this particular analysis, there's a question I want us to answer. Why do Kenyans of late celebrate when a leader dies? Why do Kenyans celebrate? It is crystal clear that there is a big gap between the people and the leadership, from the MCA up to the president. There is a very big gap in between here. The people have lost touch with the leadership. So why? We've seen this happen twice. When the former IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati died, we saw celebrations in Kenya. The latest case is of the Kasipul Member of Parliament, Charles Were, who was shot in Nairobi, in the city, and since that time, I have seen posts jubilating, writing on how the MP was brutal, writing on how the MP could not spare the enemies. But why this is, I have never seen, even those who have been in Kenya long enough, you can tell me this is the first time that an elected leader dies and his people celebrate. An appointed leader dies and the people he was guiding, or the people he was leading, celebrate. Why? Can we have a look at this one?
About the event that happened in June the 25th. A very sad day indeed. Tragic and shameful. Tragic in the sense that we lost lives of our fellow Kenyans. Shameful in the sense that democracy of the parliament was about to be infringed. And nevertheless, it has come at this time. A time that we have really moved on. We spoke about that issue in this house, discussed it, sympathized, mourned our fellow Kenyans who passed on during that day. However, it has come at this time again. As much as we agree that our fellow Kenyans lost their lives, unfortunately, but we also moved on to ensure that we reconcile the country as we move on. BBC World Service has attended to this matter in a way that also looked at the Kenyan society or African society as something that discriminatory, sort of, if I may say so. Honorable Speaker, it looked like our media stations also picked it up without questioning how BBC World Service aired the story. It happens world over. People are killed, our people are killed, we sympathize, we moved on. Even world over. Remember, there was the same issue or similar in Capitol Hill. BBC World Service never took the opportunity to say something. It happened in London, they never said it. It happened in many Western nations, they never said it. Above all, there's the killing of women and children in Gaza, and BBC World Service never speak about it. Unfortunately, where 50,000 have been killed so far, especially women and children by a country. They never cover those things. So I think the timing of that report, and it comes at a time when IPOA and other executive agencies are doing an investigation, and they never shared that with them. let us not subjugate or discriminate against our own agencies that we think are doing their jobs. It's a matter of us saying, let us ensure that they have capacity to do their job. But let us not clap hands for foreigners who always come and say, this is wrong, what you are doing. Pointing fingers at whatever we do. BBC is a world-renowned station, media station. They have never talked about the genocide that is happening in Gaza, and yet it's a world service. But they want to incite at this time. So, Honorable Speaker, I think why I'm raising this point, because the title itself talks about bloodbath parliament. They should have talked about the protests that happened that day in Kenya or Nairobi, but they chose to use the term bloodbath parliament. That is to also see parliament in a very bad light. This doesn't mean that we don't sympathize with our Kenyans who have been killed. We did here. We mourned them. We empathized with them. We sympathized with them. But the timings of this report by BBC World is unfortunate. And it touches on lack of patriotism also on our part, trying to showcase things done by a foreign media. I want to take on BBC World. Please go to Gaza and report also what is happening in Gaza as well. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to bring that to attention of the House so that they are also aware that this is a national matter that is happening in our soil. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
That is in the National Assembly. And the person speaking is a member of parliament. And this member of parliament, Bashir Abdullahi, is celebrating the killing of Gen Zs during the anti-finance bill protests last year. So the MP is not with the people. The MP is siding with the government. According to the MP, the investigative report done by the BBC is meant to taint the government negatively. The MP does not want to take into account the innocent lives that were lost, the innocent lives that have never been traced to death. So, he is saying many people have been dying. People die, we sympathize and forget. That's what the MP is saying. Meaning, the death of the Gen Zs is an issue to the country. What they can only do as leaders, as members of parliament, the only thing they can assist Kenyans with is to sympathize and forget. Little did the MP know that the criminal activities they are shielding has spread to them. Innocent killings, innocent shootings, innocent disappearances. The MP was not aware that the same criminal activities he is defending in the National Assembly could fall on a colleague member of parliament. This is a clear indication that in Kenya, nobody is on a safer side. You celebrate today, you are killed tomorrow. You are a leader today, you are a civilian tomorrow. So what are we supposed to do? The people of Kenya, whether you are an elected leader, whether you are appointed, whether you are serving in the government, it's our collective responsibility to say no to innocent killings. Now tell me, God forbid, what if this MP called Bashir dies today? What will happen on internet? Kenyans will jubilate. So this takes us back to our earlier question. Why do Kenyans celebrate when leaders die? The reason is when leaders have been trusted with power, they oppress the people who own those powers. Let me give you an example. I have always told you here, leadership is not an opportunity. It is a privilege to serve. Meaning, the position you are holding as a leader has been trusted to you by the people. Meaning, the powers you are a custodian of belongs to the people. When you abuse those powers, the people themselves, the people shall, mandatory, those powers belong to the owners. So when leaders think they have an opportunity in the elected and appointed positions to mistreat the electorate, the people who owns those positions, this is what leads to celebrations when such leaders die. It is a learning exercise to those in power already. Don't think when you have the power today that you can command death to disappear from you. All of us are in a journey. All of us are candidates of death. What legacy will you leave when you die? I know some leaders today, if they die, Wakenya watachinja ng'ombe and they eat as normal. Tumefika hapa kwa sababu viongozi wamekataa kutetea wale watu wamewaweka mamlakani. That is why Kenyans celebrate. So leaders should know. Leaders should know that you are on your own. The reason why you are on your own, you have refused to do your work as per the Constitution. God bless you. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.